Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I'm your host today for the Retire Happy Hour, and I hope that you'll stay with us now for the next half hour. We're going to be having some of our advisors in our network of independent financial advisors whose focus is on retirement, just sharing some of their thoughts from their experiences and answering the questions that we have for them as well. You know, retirement is a huge topic these days. It's a very fluid issue, and it's something that it's hard to stay up with. And so we're so thankful these people have come by. 10,000 baby boomers a day are retiring. Huge subject. We know this program is going to be a help to you. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Retire Happy Hour. I'm your host, Brad Smith, and I'm sitting with Mr. David West. Good to have you here today with us.
Thank you, Brad.
We've got a lot of eager viewers out there that are looking for answers from a really qualified, credentialed guy, and that's you, because I see a bunch of letters behind your name: MBA, CLU, ChFC. You've done your due diligence.
I've worked hard at it over the years, yes.
That's good. How many years have you been in this business?
I have been in this business for over 30 years.
Wow. Starting to add up.
It is.
And you're out in Orem, Utah.
Yes.
Where is that? Help us.
If you're familiar with Salt Lake City, it's about 40 miles south of Salt Lake City, near the BYU Brigham Young University campus.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. I've been out in that area. It's a beautiful country. And you the name of your company is West Capital Advisors, and I imagine that's a play off of your last name rather than a regional thing.
Kind of both.
Okay. You're out west and you are west. So,
correct.
That's fantastic. Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us today. Let's get right into these questions. The first one is, what concerns are you seeing among the clients who come to you for help?
There are four things I think that most of the people I see are very concerned about. The first one is, as you can well imagine, is outliving your money in retirement.
Right. Big
Concern, particularly with the Social Security and the duress it's been under, with the longevity of people that's happening now, and of course with the turmoil that we're seeing in the markets from time to time. And so that would be the first. The second, I think, would be, is my existing portfolio performing the way that I had anticipated as I went into retirement? And of course, that's a difficult thing, because if you go into a recession right away, when you go into retirement, that can have a dramatic impact on the amount of money you have to live on through retirement. And then, people often have depended on dividends too. And as we saw during the pandemic, there were many companies that either lowered their dividends or didn't pay a dividend. Again, very dramatic thing for somebody that's in retirement.
Yes, especially in the early years.
Especially in the early years, because it impacts the later years tremendously.
Yeah.
And, in about every 10 years, we have a recession. So that's something that needs to be planned for.
Exactly.
In retirement. The third thing is the cost of medical expenses when you get into retirement.
Good luck with that one.
Yes. Fidelity has actually done a survey and estimated that about $300,000 in addition to retirement funds will be needed for medical expenses in retirement. That's a big number. And, and it's not just yourself, it's also your spouse.
Uh-oh.
And so those...
I'm sitting here thinking I should jump up from this interview and go flip some burgers at a hamburger shop and get some more money in here.
A lot of people do that.
Okay.
And the fourth thing, I think, that I see that has been traumatic for some of my clients and questions they have is when a spouse passes away. And the remaining spouse then is, in addition to the grief that they're feeling, they're faced with possibly higher taxes because of the new tax filing status that they will be in.
I haven't heard this before. that is something.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that could change. And then the other thing is the reduction in Social Security or pension benefits they might be receiving.
Right. And maybe a couple of other unpleasant surprises if they haven't sat down with a good planner like you to just do a good job of anticipation, right?
You know, I think it's important when you get to retirement to work with somebody who is competent in that area to give good advice.
Yes.
You know, whether that's me or whether that's somebody else that might be very competent. I would hope they would come to me, but you need a competent advisor. And, you know, a lot of people think they can do this on their own. But the reality is that unless you've had some training in this area, it's very difficult to anticipate all the things that you need to plan for.
Especially since things are fluid. You know, with a planner, they can help a person adjust to new laws and things that change that could require tweaking something. So,
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. So, well, let's go to a second. Those were great answers, David. Thank you. Here's the second question. What are the biggest mistakes retirees make?
I think probably the biggest mistake is not to have a plan in place. In other words, you know, that's a huge mistake because, you know, people will think, well, I'll accumulate this money and I'll have enough money sufficient to take care of any
It'll all work
issues.
out.
It'll all work out in the end. And it often doesn't. And so I think that's the most important thing, is to put together a comprehensive, integrated plan that covers all the major issues that you might face in retirement. You know, even to the point where you do some estate planning, and if you want to leave a legacy, you know, what is the best way to do that? You know, in addition to the income issues that you might have.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'll just split it up. Whatever's left, we'll just split it among the kids. That's not a
very good plan.
That's not a great legacy plan.
It really is
your
not.
kids they deserve better than that.
Yep, it's true.
David, thank you for sitting down with me today. You gave us some great information, and I like the way you delivered it too. Thanks for being a part of our program.
Thank you very much, Brad.
We have some other advisors that are coming up right away, so don't go away. We'll be right back.